Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
Welcome in. How are we doing here on a Wednesday? It's Wednesday already. It's the day before Green Bay takes on the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. Buddy, it is going to be a fun one for sure coming up tomorrow night. And, of course, after that one, we'll have the Green Bay Football postgame show with Tommy Wirtz and myself. Looking forward to that. Coming up on today's show, you will hear from our guy, Mr. LaFleur. We'll hear from Micah Parsons. You're a little bit of Micah Parsons there in the last hour with Middays with Thunder. We'll get to that coming up at 3 o'clock. Aaron Perez, Punt Factory, is the organization that he works for, and he's been working with the Packers punter. A great piece from Wendell Ferreira, an A to Z sports column that he did that I read. I was like, oh, man, he'd be cool to get on the air. Let's talk to him. So Aaron Perez will be on at 3:20. Also coming up at 4 o'clock during our Green and Gold update, brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Easton Butler from the Packer Report with a tweet, I guess you could say, last night saying the Packers have multiple offers on the table currently sitting for them for teams interested in Romeo Doubs. So we'll talk to Easton Butler more about that coming up at 4 o'clock. Plus, we'll keep you updated on what's going on in this Brewers and Rangers game. Jackson Churio, Bryce Terang with homers there to start off the game. Back-to-back homers on top of that. First Terang, then Churio. So 2-0 Brewers. Peralta on the mound for the Crew. Bottom of 2 right now in Texas for that one. I'm going to start out talking about the Green Bay Packers, obviously, as we get ready for this game coming up against the Commanders tomorrow. If you're the Packers, right, you're Matt LaFleur, you're Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, Micah Parsons, Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney. How would you go about approaching the idea of slowing down the Commanders' offense? How would you go about slowing down the Commanders' offense? That is the question on the table for you. Coming up tomorrow, we'll eye up the enemy on this very show. And I'm looking forward to having JP Finley on. And he's actually in Green Bay covering the game for NBC and for our sister station, Odyssey sister station in Washington, D.C. So we'll talk to him coming up tomorrow at 2:40 and get his thoughts on this matchup between the Commanders and the Packers as well. But when we talk about dealing with a guy that runs the way that he does, that's a big deal. A solo home run for Berger for the Rangers. It's now 2-1. He kind of looks like Rowdy Tellez a little bit. Doesn't he kind of look like Rowdy Tellez a little bit, Charlie?
A little bit. I can see it. Yeah,
looks heavier set guy. Yeah. So 2-1 Brewers now. Peralta with the home run given up. But when you talk about dealing with going against Jaden Daniels in this game tomorrow night, as we talked about a little bit yesterday, you have two ways you can kind of go about this, right? And the way that Hafley went about this last year was he kind of sat back, played conservative, and really didn't bring pressure on these guys until the second half. Sometimes not till the fourth quarter is when he started to get aggressive with these quarterbacks. And it was pretty much every single running quarterback he treated the same way. He did not treat Jared Goff the same way he would treat a guy that could get out and run like Jaden Daniels. But the differentiator in all of this is Micah Parsons, who has He had 4.5 sacks, I think, last year against the Commanders in 2 games for the Dallas Cowboys. So obviously he's had some success going against him. And it's funny, they brought up, game planning against him. And Jaden Daniels is like, dude, he's the highest paid guy in the league, not named a quarterback. So, when you're a game wrecker like that, yeah, I'd say we probably have to pay attention to where he is when we go to the line of scrimmage. And then you have Hafley talking about the idea of having Micah Parsons and all the things you can do with them as well. The other part about this too is Jay Glazer was talking about this whole idea of them getting Micah Parsons and, the fact that they were in this kind of from the beginning and all of that. And Charles Woodson started that whole conversation piece originally talking about the Packers were the only team that wanted him and so forth. But listen to this piece. It starts off with Charles Woodson on Fox, but listen to the end when Glazer talks about Hafley finding out about Micah Parsons.
Green Bay Packers were the only team that wanted me. How did it come to fruition that Micah ends up in Green Bay?
How are they the only team that wanted you?
20 years later, I'm still trying to figure it out, Jay.
Hey, memo to every other team, you whiffed on that one. As far as the Green Bay Packers, they're actually showed the most interest the entire time. And I'm going to have a lot more on this on Fox NFL Sunday, but they were really the leaders in the clubhouse. They were very, very aggressive. And obviously the Cowboys didn't want to train them within their division. But the other interesting part of this is Jeff Hafley, the defense coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. He actually in the last week have reached out to Dan Quinn, who is his defense coordinator, Micah Parsons with the Cowboys, and James Franklin, the head coach at Penn State, say, give me some tips. What do I need to know to get the best out of him? And both said the same thing. Make sure you challenge him. If you challenge him, you could do so many things with this guy. And the sky's the limit.
And I think that right there should make everybody smile from ear to ear when you hear Jay Glazer of Fox talking about the fact that Hafley was reaching out to his former coaches, D-coaches, and asking more intel on Micah Parsons, the dude, right? What makes Micah Parsons tick? How do you get the most out of Micah Parsons? That's a defensive coordinator who's not sitting there going, I know all. I don't need to talk to anybody. I know how good this dude is. I'll figure it out. He's going to be a stud. Jeff Hafley didn't act like he knew all and reached out for even more information to help him build packages and different things that he wants to do. And as Micah pointed out, you really couldn't do that in week one. They didn't have enough time. So maybe some of these creative ways of using Micah Parsons will now show up here either this week or against Cleveland. I guarantee you, Charlie, the creative packages will be in place for sure. And maybe to make their debut against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. At the very latest, that's when these will show up.
At the very latest, Micah Parsons, when he was talking today, said that they put in at least one last week, and he said they put in at least one kind of special package
Was
this
that
week.
The one where he was lined up over the center, I'm guessing?
I believe so. I think that would be, in my opinion, the one that was. He said he didn't want to give too much information because of all the strategy behind it. But that's what it comes down to, is that you're slowly integrating these packages in order to get him involved. But he's such a smart player. Like, he's brought up how hard of a worker he is when it comes to studying the film, studying the packages. And Hafley and Matt LaFleur talk about how much they think he is such a hard worker and a leader for this team, that I think you can start installing these as fast as possible. As fast as he wants to, is as fast as you can do it.
So how would you go about slowing down Jaden Daniels? If you're coaching, if you're players, how are you suggesting to slow down this Commanders offense? Nicolay Law, Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Tweet, Facebook, all right there for you at The Fan Milwaukee. YouTube, search for us, The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. You will find us there, and it's real nice and easy after that. Real nice and easy. You can watch with us. You can chat in our dugout chat right there on YouTube. And we'll read those chats. Sound out with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Okay, so I will say first and foremost, for me, I do want a spy of some sort on Jaden Daniels. Now, the determination of who that spy is going to be, I think, is up for debate. Now, I can't tell you that I've sat here and timed a 40-yard dash time between Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker to see who the fastest linebacker is. Eye test tells me it's Edgerrin Cooper. But I don't want to take Edgerrin Cooper out of situations to where he can be a game wrecker like Micah Parsons, because he's got to sit in the middle of the field and spy Jaden Daniels. I think if I'm going to take somebody out of potentially being a difference maker in this game and spying, I think my guy is going to be McDuffie, Isaiah McDuffie. It's probably the guy I look at and say, hey, man, I want you to be that guy that's going to spy Jaden Daniels at the end of the day. Because I think Quay Walker is another guy that you saw here last week, where he also is a guy that's capable of shooting the gaps, getting running backs in the backfield, going after a quarterback. I think that's all possibilities here for the Green Bay Packers. But I'm going to take the guy that is least likely to make a big impact play, that can still run a little bit, and McDuffie, and say, you're going to be my spy in this game. You're going to be the guy eyeing up Daniels when you're on the field. And then obviously there have got to be other choices, right? So when McDuffie comes off the field, who then takes over that spy role when McDuffie is on the sidelines? But I do think you have to go in this game with the idea of having a spy on Jaden Daniels. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Trail, North Side, you're up first. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's here on the Fan. Sparky with you. What's up, Trail?
Hey, what's going on with you, Sparky?
What you got?
Hey, so absolutely, you kind of stole my thunder, man. Spy would definitely be it, but my spy would be Edgerton Cooper. Edgerton Cooper would be his assignment, the complete game, and allow Quay Walker to do like the regular middle of the field, and then of course Micah Parsons is going to create havoc on the line.
But Trell, why wouldn't you use McDuffie, who is the least likely to be of any huge importance to this defense as far as making big plays? I mean, Cooper and Parsons are the two guys that are probably capable of making the biggest impact plays on this defense right now. And to sacrifice that for him to sit back there and spy, I don't know, man. That's tough for me.
No, you got to think about it, because the spy is actually going to be one of the biggest pieces on the chessboard because of Jaden Daniels running the ball. More likely, he's going to try to get mobile a whole lot, especially with the way the Packers are collapsing the pocket. So, I just think I can see Jaden Daniels outrunning McDuffie or putting the move on McDuffie. I think he'll have a way harder time doing that with Edgerton Cooper. So that's why I don't want to take any chance. Edgerton Cooper will be my spy, because I think that, he'll probably get to the point where he'll chase down Jaden McDaniels on sometimes where he's just sitting there watching him.
Right.
He'll just take off and chase him down, and make him take some losses, play losses. But I think with McDuffie, we're taking a chance that I think that McDaniels is more athletic than him, and that, we'll kind of look like we're unathletic, and I don't think that's the calling card of our team right now. So I will put Edgerton Cooper as the spy.
All right, so Edgerton Cooper is your spy. Trell, thanks for the call. Let's go to Charlie using other side of the glass. Charlie, I think we all are going to agree that a spy is probably needed in this situation to deal with Jaden Daniels. However, maybe there's some debate as far as who that guy is going to be coming up tomorrow night. What say you?
If Quay Walker is healthy, he's my spy.
He's your spy. So
I'm right.
So we
in
have
between
three
you guys.
different people.
I don't think it's Edgerton Cooper, because I do think he is probably your most athletic player outside of Micah Parsons on the field, and you need him to kind of be around everywhere, kind of like you were talking about, where he has other priorities. But also having McDuffie out there for extended periods of this game doesn't really make sense to me as well when you have more athletic players, or you have other packages that you may want to run that may include maybe another cornerback as like that nickelback position, or safety at that nickelback position, or you want to move Micah Parsons around a little bit. McDuffie limits how you move around the rest of the defense, and I don't think you want him to take up a lot of that playing time. Quay Walker's a nice in-between, and I think one of the biggest skills of Quay Walker is that when you just kind of tell him to go, and he'll be able to make a lot of quick plays. One of the easiest jobs is to say, hey, watch that guy the whole game and just make sure he doesn't get out of the pocket. Just do that. And if he can do that, which I know he can, and you're not giving him too much responsibility to where he's kind of getting confused a little bit on the field, which I think he does sometimes when he is given a little bit more of a complicated package, then he should be okay as that spy.
See, it's interesting, too, because the other part about this is we saw this happen in the last game where they sent a cornerback blitz, right? Now, I don't know what the thought process is on sending corner blitzes against guys that can get out and run. If you're bringing it from his blind side and he doesn't see you, snap, crackle, pop. Okay, cool. But if he sees you and he's off to the races and you're chasing around the other side, that may force him to get out and run a little bit quicker than ever before. I wonder what the philosophy is with defensive coordinators as far as setting safety and corner blitzes against mobile cornerbacks, Charlie.
I think it kind of depends on how much you feel threatened by his arm as well. I think there's some guys who are better runners like Justin Fields, and you're not really threatened by his ability to beat you through the air. So I think guys like that, you try to blitz a little bit more in order to fluster them a little bit, and you risk him breaking off a 20-yard run with the fact that he's not going to throw for an 80-yard touchdown on you. Now, Lamar Jackson is a different story because he can burn you through the air as well, and he can be pretty accurate in a lot of the games that he's playing. I think Jaden Daniels is kind of right in between that right now, where you expect him to be able to beat you with his arm sometimes, but if you fluster him enough, he's still a young quarterback that's going to make mistakes. So I think in this one, you still have to blitz occasionally, but you can't be as aggressive as you can be with like a Justin Fields or a Kyler Murray.
When we talk about going against the Commanders and what they present, you have Deebo Samuel there now, remember, as well, right? He's no longer in San Francisco. You saw Deebo Samuel find pay dirt in this last game for Washington. So they're going to use him probably in similar type ways as what the 49ers use Deebo Samuel. That's not a guy normally that you're taking down with the first player. He's so thick in his legs, and his ability to break tackles is what really makes him dangerous. The ability to hand him the ball out of the backfield in situations makes him valuable. And listen, I understand Austin Eckler was the guy at one point, but it does not appear he is the guy anymore with the Commanders. It appears that it is running back by committee, and a guy that everybody likes is their 7th round draft pick, who I have in my fantasy team. That might be the guy. So even game planning for the running back situation, that's a little bit difficult too, because they really don't have that one main guy like the Packers have in Josh Jacobs.
No, but the benefit is that they don't have one main guy, so that means the talent in that running back room isn't exactly the most exciting. I know Ja'Cory Cross-Gamera is a really good running back that could be really good. He's young, he's talented, he's a younger player. Right. But outside of that, they don't really threaten you. That's why Jane Daniels, you have to be more worried about his legs, because they're going to use and utilize that a lot more than they will Merritt or a Austin Eckler. And then, like you said, Deebo Samuel, a guy who's been a gadget player throughout his career and made a big lot of money through his ability to be that gadget style player. Washington should look to use that as well. So I think that's where your focus should be in the run game, not really directly on the running backs.
Absolutely right about that. He is Charlie uses C Sparky Fifer over here. Don't forget Potawatomi Sportsbook, to and from every Brewers home game. They got their shuttles running. When did that start? July, I want to say, somewhere in that area. All you have to do is go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook to get more details. Shuttles start 1 hour prior to the game. Shuttles stop running 1 hour after the game. In order to get on the shuttle, you have to make a same game day wager or a purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Now, Potawatomi Sportsbook, what can I get there other than gambling tickets? Well, they've got an unbelievable kitchen and bar area, right? 48 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, all kinds of food, desserts and pastries made homemade on site every day at Potawatomi. And then as far as food goes, burgers, wraps, wings, all day brunch, they have it all at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So again, take advantage of those shuttles. It's free to park in their parking garage. You're going to pay $20, $25, $30 to park at the field. And again, you maybe pregame a little bit, have something to eat, hop on the shuttle, come back, have a little dessert, or if it's an afternoon game, make reservations at one of their fine dining restaurants around Potawatomi, have dinner there, and then go home, making a whole day adventure. It is the way to go. Can you imagine playoffs? Woo-wee.
It's going to be fun.
I don't know why you would do anything else other than do that at this point, going over there to Potawatomi. So Potawatomi.com/sportsbook, Potawatomi.com/sportsbook to take advantage of that. And again, when we start talking about what this is going to look like here at the end of the day for the Milwaukee Brewers, they're up 2-1 right now, bottom of 3. I think last year and really the last, I don't know, going back to 2019 and forward, let's say, there's excitement about the Brewers going into the postseason, right? But I don't feel like the energy that was there during the winning streak is still there. I feel like we've lost some energy. We've lost some mojo. We lost those vibes where everybody was talking about the Brewers nonstop. Part of it is Packers. Guilty. That's obviously part of it. The other part of it is they haven't been playing as undefeated and they've come back down to earth and are now, win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2, win a series, lose a series. I mean, that's kind of where they are right now, which is fine. You could sit here and tread water. They're still in position possibly to clinch a playoff spot today or tomorrow. And then magic number wise, I mean, to clinch the division, I think they could be all the way down to 10 with a Brewers win. The Cubs play today, or are they off today? I don't remember.
Let me double check.
I don't remember if they have to play. It's Wednesday. Of course they play.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's Thursday. So a Brewers win, Cubs loss. All of a sudden that magic number is down to 10 to win the division. And they win the division probably here in the next week and a half, somewhere in that area. Feeling really good about yourself. So I don't know. Enjoy it. Like I always tell you, enjoy these things. Okay, quick timeout. Come back on the other side. My guy, Jeff Hafley, folks. Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator. Nobody other than Micah Parsons, because he got the money, was happier to have Micah Parsons go to the Green Bay Packers than Jeff Hafley. And after watching week 1, can you imagine how giddy he is now? I mean, do you think if you're married to Jeff Hafley, go, be honest, do you love Micah more than you love me? Let's just cut to the chase. Do you?
Mitch already said he had a man crush on Micah. He was talking about it after hearing 2 clips from Micah. That's all he needed.
Micah has a man crush on everybody. Thunder does.
Serial hugger.
Yeah, serial hugger. Right. Yeah, exactly right. I heard him say something about punching you in the face today.
He did say that.
What was that all about?
I think he just gets aggressive with me.
He just gets aggressive.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. You certainly don't bring that out in people. Charlie Hughes and Sparky Fifer. He'll come back. We'll hear from Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator, straight ahead. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Man, I'll tell you what. It is Wednesday, and I cannot wait for Thursday. Get me to the Packers-Commanders game tomorrow night. And then after the game, we make the switch here to the Green Bay Football Post-Game Show. Myself, Tommy Wirtz. We'll hear from Ryan Wood after every game on the Green Bay Football Post-Game Show. Plus, we'll get sound from inside the locker room from Ryan. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love. Take your calls, your tweets. Get in on the YouTube chat right after the game. Had a bunch of people chatting in the first game of the season. Tell your friends, tell your family. There might be some people that don't even know we're on the air. I mean, you think about it legitimately. We've only been back for, a year? This show got on the air in April of 24. So it's just been over a year, and then we didn't add the other 2 shows until October. So like this lineup really hasn't been together for even a year yet at this point, Charlie.
No, it feels like 10 years sometimes with Mitch and Ellis.
I love you. I love you so much. Feels like 10 years working with Mitch and Ellis. That's great. Wonderful.
But you know what? I love them. I love working with Tommy. I love working with Andy from the couple times I've interacted with him and Mason. It's a lot of fun. They're all awesome on air.
You've worked with Radar and Elizabeth on the mix.
I have. Yeah. It's been really cool. I mean, Ed walking around here fixing everything is always fun to hang out with too.
IT Ed's a great dude. Love IT Ed. That's the one thing we've talked about this before. We got a great group of people in this building right now, between the salespeople that our GM Jason Bjorson has brought in, the on-air staff, the off-the-air staff that you don't see, and all of that. It's really a very cool and fun place to work in this building, and very appreciative of everybody involved for making that a deal.
I want to point out one thing. Q said I've never shaved this entire time I've worked here. That's a lie.
No, that is true.
I dressed up as Nacho Libre for Halloween, and I shaved down to a mustache for that. So you're a liar, Q.
Yes, you do. But we didn't have YouTube then, so he wouldn't have seen you.
Yeah, that's true too.
So you haven't shaved since we've been on YouTube.
That's true too. Yeah.
Since the end of June.
No, I haven't. No.
Not once?
I've cleaned it up and stuff, but no, I haven't.
So you trim it to keep it kept a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's usually just on the neck, on the mustache, trim the mustache so I can stop getting the hairs in my mouth and stuff. But
so is the neck beard inspired by Jay Cutler?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I think that's just how my beard grows.
Oh, is that just how it goes?
Yeah, I think so.
Can't control. Nothing you can do about that. Okay, back to the Packers. Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley talked yesterday about a bunch of different things. And if you have listened to this show in the past, you know there's nobody I like to listen to more than Jeff Hafley. I'll listen to Jeff Hafley over Jordan Love. I'll listen to Jeff Hafley over Matt LaFleur. I'll listen to Jeff Hafley over Brian Gutekunst. He's my favorite person to listen to because he tends to open the curtain more than the rest of them do on a consistent basis and let you in on what he's thinking, why they do things, and all of that stuff. Here's some of Jeff Hafley. Now, again, I'm going to interrupt this throughout. I promise. I always do. Here we go.
This week feel longer than a Sunday to Sunday week in some ways?
It's an interesting week because as soon as you put the game to bed that night, you just immediately go back to work and you do, 2 or 3 days work within one day. And then you come today and it's really Thursday and Friday. So you kind of you have a lot to do in very little time. So you just go. And here we are. So you're able to get a little bit more done because it's earlier in the season. So we had time in camp and time, before we played the Lions to kind of get a head start on this one. So that does make it for us a little bit easier than maybe it would have on a normal week. But look, it's easier for us as coaches than it is for the players, right? For us, it's not sleeping and thinking. And for our players, it's making sure that their bodies feel well. And then, I always say this on a Thursday game, I give these guys a ton of credit for how hard they play and how physical they play to go and do it again in such a short period of time. I have a ton of respect for them. And, for that, I'll stay up and do everything that I can possibly to help them play their best and win the game.
When you get to Thursday, are you just trying to clear your mind at that point, or are you still going over your play sheets and call sheets?
Like as far as this Thursday? Yeah, for the next 2 days, I'll kind of go back now that everything's been installed to the players, and I'll just kind of watch film and go through it again just to make sure it's clear-headed and, catch my breath a little bit and go through it again and make sure that I like everything that we installed. And there might still be some tweaks up to the game. But in all honesty, I think you always kind of work to the game and then through the game. I've never been a big believer in the haze in the barn on Friday and you just go. You work through the game, you get new ideas. I mean, something might come in the third quarter of the game. So you just never stop. And that's how we'll be. And that's how I'll be studying it until the game's over.
Can you explain something to me real quick? We'll continue with Jeff Howell. I need Charlie, football guy, to explain to me, Sparky, non-football guy. You telling me that there are coaches out there that are so rock-headed and so stubborn that whatever it is in the game plan is what it is in the game, and we are not deviating because, gosh darn it, I spent a weekend in this game plan ready, and we're going to run it, and I'm not going to go off in a different direction. That's literally what he just said. He said there are some guys put the hay in the barn on Friday, and hey, that's what we're doing. Regardless of what happens, this is what we're rolling with. That is a horrible way to coach any sport.
It is. And that's also why Matt Nagy got fired from the Bears and why Matt Eberflus got fired from the Bears, because both of those guys were really bad at adapting their game plans, especially in the second half of games, because they just had this certain vision of how games are supposed to go. And if it didn't go that way, it was like, well, throw screen passes until we figure it out again because we need to get back on schedule. And you just kind of lose everything. And that's why some people aren't fit to be head coaches. I think that a lot of these guys are really good coordinators and they know what they're doing on the coordinating side of the game. But that's because that's worrying about the technique of players. That's worrying about setting up the game plans. And it's a head coach's job to disseminate what needs to be moved and what needs to be kind of flexible in this game plan here based on what my coordinators are telling me. And when you put those coordinators into the head coach role and everything needs to go a certain way and go their way, it's really hard to then adapt later on in games, and you can't win a lot of football games that way.
I'll tell you what, I like I said, I'm not a football guy, but from a coaching perspective, what always kind of made sense to me, and I'm pretty sure nobody does it, but man, I'd have one game plan for the first half and I'd have a completely different game plan for the second half, regardless of what happens. We're up 14-0. We got 2 scores. Great. And the second half, the offense is going to look different than it will look like in the first half. And they're going to have to adjust to something completely different in the second half. Defensively, we're going to do one thing in the first half. In the second half, we're going to show them stuff they hadn't seen in the first half. That's how I would go about it. And I don't think anybody does that in the National Football League. It's like, if it's working, we're going to keep doing what we're doing until they stop it, which is fine. And I get it. But if you go in with that other mentality, it's a lot harder to game plan for it because on tape, after that happens 2 or 3 weeks, every coach in the league is going to be like, good luck figuring out what they're doing in the second half on either side of the ball because they keep changing it every week. They never do the same thing in the second half as they do in the first half. It makes it more harder to game plan for yourself. By the way, the Brewers now losing 3-2. Is that what that says?
Yes, it is.
3-2 to the Texas Rangers. Have no fear. Freddie Peralta's already around 70 pitches through 3 innings. Good God. All right, go ahead.
Just with that, I think obviously you would want to have 2 game plans in order to kind of, like you said, throw off the other team. At the end of a week on like a Friday, I guarantee you there's not a single NFL coach, no matter what, that says, you know what, that was the best week of practice. I'm happy with everything I saw in this week of practice. And if that's the case, then how can you possibly set up a second game plan in that time for these players, for this team at different formations?
It's just too much to prep.
It's just too much. You're coaching 53 guys any given practice, trying to get them all on the same page. And that's almost impossible for any coach to do all the time. There's going to be problems with your initial game plan. To throw in a second one is just going to create so many problems for you. And I think there are coaches that try it and it ends up not working that well unless you already have everybody on the same page.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. That makes sense. I never thought of it through like that, but it does make sense. All right, continue on. Jeff Halfley.
Jeff, was Micah able to play a little bit more than maybe you thought? What did you think?
More than I thought. I thought he was going to play the whole game. So
lie. Moving on.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't going to take him out. Maybe, I'm not sure. To be honest with you, when I was up there, I wasn't counting his reps. I was just hoping that he would continue to go back out there. But I know they had a range they wanted him to get to because the guy, I mean, we've barely known him for a week. He hasn't practiced much. So, I mean, we had to take care of him too.
Stop. Listen, I want to interject. And I'm not saying that he's a liar, but I don't understand it from a mental standpoint. If you're the defensive coordinator and if your best player is on a snap count, how are you or somebody with you upstairs not keeping track of what the heck the snap count is and where he's at, right? Because if, let's say the snap count's 30, I think he did 29. Let's say the snap count's 30 and they're running him out there and he's at 20-2. Aren't you going at halftime? Hey, man, we saw at 30 because he's only got 10 left. We got 2 quarters. Or you're in the first quarter. He's got 10. You've only got 20 more. Now you got to start pulling back. You're like, okay, we played him a little bit too much here. We got to pull him back. I would think that it's something that you want to know because you don't want to run out of snap counts at the end of a game. And they're like, sorry, man, I know you've been having Mike and it's been great, but got to sit him now. We're at our number. Like that doesn't make much sense to me. You would think somebody up there is telling Jeff, all right, man, he's got 10 left. All right, man, he's got 5 left to give him an idea of what's going on.
And you know what Jeff Halfley does? Turns off his headset because it's not
Turns
baseball.
off his headset.
It's not baseball. It's
kind
not
of a jerky move.
It's not pitch counts. It's not all this where you're playing 162 games a season where you need to worry about that health. You're playing 17 games in a season and you're going out there and you want to win each one of those 17 games. In baseball, you don't have to win each one of the 162 games. If you feel like a guy's health is more important in the long term in that moment, then yeah, you worry about that. I think Jeff Hafley early in the season, may listen a little bit to that. But if a guy's playing well, like we were talking about before, good coaches adapt. And if you feel like he's hot and he's helping this team out and he's bringing this energy to the field, then you leave him on the field if he feels like he's okay to stay on the field. And Micah Parsons, by all accounts, says he was okay to be on the field.
He wanted to play more than they played him. So that means the trainer or somebody interceded and said, that's it, we're done, right? Somebody's got to step in and stop Micah from himself and stop the coaches from overplaying Micah as well. Yes, continue on, Jeff Hafley.
Who monitors that and keeps track of that stuff so you don't have to?
Well, we have coaches in the booth who are doing that. We have other support staff that's doing that. And DeMarcus is down there too. Just kind of keeping an eye on that.
The D-line
I certainly was not keeping an eye on that. And if anybody asked me, I would have told him it was 10 less than it was.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead. I was just saying, what'd you make of his impact? Just him changing the game like you thought he would?
Yeah, for his limited snaps. The way he ran to the ball, the pressures, the sack. It's kind of what I was hoping he would do. And hopefully he'll do more and we'll be able to use him more the more we have him in practice and the more reps that he can play. And, the more comfortable he is with the guys in his room to play off each other, to run games together, to really learn the defense. So I thought he did an awesome job. And the more I'm around him, the more I'm impressed with him, not just as a player, but as a person and the way he approaches it, the way he's trying to have relationships with his teammates. He's a fun guy to be around. He loves ball and he's smart. And I respect him a ton. And I'm glad he's on our team.
So given just how little you actually practice in a week like this, would it be hard to expect him to play much more than he did the other night?
I hope he plays more than he did the other night. But we'll see. And I know that's
interviewing a fan at this point with Hafley.
It all depends on how he feels, right? And then we'll kind of go from there. And then hopefully pretty soon we're talking about him not coming out of the game. So hopefully this will be one of the last weeks for that. But we got to ramp him up. And I get it, guys. Big picture. He had an impact on the game for sure. And so did the rest of our D-line, and so did the rest of our team. That was one of the – I told the guys after the game, just being up there and seeing how fast they played and seeing how hard they played. And they ran to the ball and they tackled and they're punching at the ball and the excitement. And then watching it on film the next day, that's probably one of my proudest moments as a coach. Just they were relentless for the entire game. And it was everybody. Like everybody who stepped foot on that field, they just played so hard. And I appreciate that so much as a coach. And it's a credit to the staff. It's a credit to the players. And we got to do it again.
Micah told us this afternoon, when he got to the fourth quarter, he's still feeling pretty good. And he wanted those snaps to get into football shape, right? To be out there and get that. You have to account that this is almost his time to condition for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's what practice is for. But so he didn't have practice, so he's getting that in the game. And he was tired. He knows he's got to get in football shape. And he's trained so much and he plays so hard. It's just his play style, he's going to get tired. But, this week we really didn't practice, so it's going to continue to be an ongoing process.
So he just showed up the other day, and he ends up playing the game. He's playing defensive end. He's playing defensive tackle. A, how are you able to pull it off? And then B, what's the benefit of him moving to different positions?
We pulled it off by meeting extra with him. And then again, I give him a lot of credit. He's sharp. He retains stuff really quick. He asks good questions. He meets extra. Give credit to DeMarcus, him. He did a great job preparing. As far as, I think in football, you try to take advantage of certain matchups. If you feel, and this is never disrespect to any other player on another team, it's just not how I am. But if you feel like there's a guy that you want to attack with a certain player, then let's move him around. If there's a certain protection look we can get by putting him in a different area, let's move him around. If there's somebody else we can free up by putting him over there so they all go this way, let's put him there. So I think we have to continue to figure out how to win games and figure out our matchups. And if we feel like we have a mismatch or we feel like there's something in protection that we want to kind of exploit, then that's our job to do that. like I've always said, I'm not just going to put a guy because he's a DN. I'm not just going to put him a DN and let him go. I mean, that's our job to help him and help our team.
You know what the funny thing about this is? That's Jeff Havley. That's enough. The funny thing about this is that he's always going to have a mismatch. I mean, how many offensive tackles are going to have the advantage and go, I'm better than Micah? I mean, there aren't many. There's less than 5, maybe less than 3 in the league that feel like they've got the upper hand on Micah Parsons. So literally, in guards too. I'll say the same thing about guards. How many guards are going to be able to stay with this dude? So from that perspective, you win. Now, how many mismatches does Lucas Van Ness have against how many offensive linemen? Yeah.
Andre Dillard. I think he's better than Andre Dillard.
Oh, my goodness. I can't even
Most of the Bears' offensive line.
Hey, man, he played well week 1, so maybe the Micah thing will help him, and that would be amazing. He has a great year. I'm just saying, my point is, what Havley had to work with before versus now having, arguably the best player in football on that side of the football to find mismatches for is a big deal. Caleb Durbin just looked like he was on a slip and slide going around second base. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
My goodness gracious.
Around.
Oh,
well, I think with the mismatch thing, there was maybe 3 guys before week 1 that I thought were a mismatch for him. It's Tristan Wirfs, it's Rashawn Slater, and then it was Penei Sewell. And then I watched him kill Penei Sewell. So now it's 2. It's Rashawn Slater and Tristan Wirfs. And that's about it, man. That's pretty crazy that it's 2 guys.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Whoa. I cannot wait to see how this all plays out. I said, whoa, because I got the TV. I watching FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin. Ball hit by Jansen up the middle. The ball hit the bag and spiked the infielder in the chest because it took such a wicked hop off of the base, and everybody's safe now. For the bases loaded now for the Brewers with 2 outs. Charlie's now going to get to see this. I mean, it looked like an easy ground ball, and it took a horrible hop off a second. Where did it hit him? In the shoulder? Oh, it hit off the side of the bag. Oh, yeah, that was a bad hop. There was nothing you could do about that. That was Freeman there. Nothing you could do. Bases loaded for the Brewers now, down 3-2 in the 4th for the Crew. Sports Talk on the Fan Milwaukee, presented to you by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series, Tulsa King. This season, Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries, yet forcing him to fight for everything he's built and protect his empire. Stream the new season of Tulsa King on Sunday, September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus. Coming up on the other side, ESPN with a piece on the National Football League, and they interviewed executives and front office people from all around the National Football League, and they asked them to kind of name end-of-the-year award winners, right? So MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player, Coach of the Year. All those were up to be voted on. And the Packers got some names on these lists. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM on 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky, Fifer, Charlie using other side of the glass. Freddie Peralta still pitching. It's good. We're in the fourth. Yeah, good job. I'm sorry. Like, I have come to the determination on Peralta that if we get into the postseason and it's the same stuff where he can't get through more than 5 innings and it's 4th inning and we're at 76 pitches like he is right now, if it's the same stuff in the postseason, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to be that hard to convince if they decided they wanted to move him in the offseason. I don't think I'm going to fight it. I don't think I'm going to fight it. Now, if he gets in the playoffs and he's going 6-7 innings and looking like the guy, then I'll be like, no, screw that. Just keep him. Because that's when you need it the most is in the playoffs. It doesn't matter as much here in September if he's going, 6 or 7 innings, but in the playoffs, that's when you really need him to step up and give you something.
Also at the same time though, in the playoffs, I feel like teams are only running their pitchers, starting pitchers, if they're having good to less than good outings, 4 to 5 innings anyways. Like he's pitching that playoff type of start most of the time here. I know in the regular season, we've kind of harped on it, but he's been phenomenal in those. So when the playoffs come around and you just need him to pitch 4 to 5 innings because you have such a strong bullpen, he's going to do it one of the best out of anybody in the league. So maybe that is extremely valuable to the playoffs here. I don't know if it changes how much you would re-sign him for, but it definitely means he's going to be a valuable part of the playoff rotation.
He's like, 3rd in Cy Young voting right now, Peralta?
It's going to be hard to get past,
$8 million next year? Don't you get a boatload for that? He's top 3 in Cy Young voting, and then if he goes into the postseason and has a couple of wins too. Now this is to me what it matters. If they go win the World Series, then what? What does that mean? Does that mean mean you have to bring it back, or does that mean you feel more free to trade him? Versus if you go to the NLCS and lose, then you're like, to hell with that. We got to bring him back because we need to get there, and he's got to be a key cog.
No, I think that gives you more reason to trade him. I think
if you don't finish,
if you do finish,
if you do finish, you say yes.
Yeah.
If you come up the NLCS short, then you have to keep him.
Then I think you figure out a way to kind of keep him around, or maybe not long term, but at least for that season, maybe for 2 years after that. If you feel like this iteration of this team, bring on a Jesus Made, who at this rate is going to be at the MLB next season at some point there. I mean, this could be a lot of fun for the next couple of seasons, and he should be a part of it if you want him to be.
Got 2 outs, and he promptly gave up 2 more hits. So now we're at 82 pitches, still in the 4th inning. Please, love of God, do not end up at 90 pitches by the end of this inning. But anyways, the other thing about this too is you brought up Jesus Made. For those that don't know, he had multiple hits last night in his debut in Double-A. I believe there are only 2 other guys at the age of 18 that have done that. That's Tatis and Bryce Harper. That's it.
Yeah,
I believe that's the list.
And one of those guys is a Hall of Famer, and the other one would be 2 probably at this rate if he didn't get suspended for steroids. So yeah, that's a pretty good list to be a part of.
That's correct. So Made, who we had talked about before of, is he going to be at Double-A to start next year? Does he come back with the Timber Rattlers and they move him after a month to Double-A? How does that play? Man, if they're in the playoffs right now in Double-A, if Biloxi wins this thing, they win the championship because Made is the driver in all of this and it plays a big role. I mean, 19 years old in the big leagues next year? I don't know.
Why not?
Especially if, well, we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself here because right now Made's playing second base for Biloxi, but he's played 3rd, short, and 2nd, I believe, in the farm system so far this year. He's moved to all 3. The Brewers right now have questions that they're going to have to go in the offseason with, which is what happens at 3rd base if you leave Terang and Ortiz where they are. That will have to be answered. And I don't think that's Made. I think the other option would be, or Isaac Collins, he moves to the infield. Made starts at Double-A, moves up to Triple-A, and then he's up in 27 at the age of 20 like Churio.
Or the other option is Andrew Fisher, your first-round draft pick from this past year, who's been playing all right. I think he could come up and be that 3rd baseman sooner than some of these other prospects just because he's had that college experience added on, which is 3 to 4 years of minor league baseball, basically.
And the reason he's not up is because Wilkins at 3rd base at Double-A right now. So otherwise, if they didn't have a third base option, they might have brought Fisher up too with Mane to try and push this thing through to a championship level. So yeah, it's all good stuff right now. We're going to get to that piece in ESPN. We'll just hold on to it. We'll get to it coming up in the 3:00 hour and talk more about this ESPN piece concerning awards at the end of the year and some Packer players being listed on it. Mornings can all start to feel the same. So if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's breakfast. Try a breakfast baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. Don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes and English muffin sandwiches. Doesn't matter what you go for, it's gonna change your life. Okay, well, it'll at least freshen up your morning. Ready for a fresh wake-up call? It's gotta be Wendy's. Coming up in the 3:00 hour, we'll talk more about that ESPN piece, play a couple of the clips from Micah Parsons as well as he talked yesterday. Aaron Perez, owner of Punt Factory, great piece by Wendell Ferreira, an A to Z sports website, interviewed Aaron Perez and his effect on the Packers punter. We'll talk to him about that coming up at 3:20. Charlie Sounds of the day at 3:40. In the 4:00 hour, Easton Butler, writer for Packer Report. He'll join us at 4:00. He had a report out, tweet out, whatever you want to call it, last night that the Green Bay Packers are sitting currently on Goody's desk with multiple offers, trade offers for Romeo Doubs. What does that mean? How does he think this whole thing plays out? Plus, we have the Christian Watson contract extension we have not talked about yet either. We have to get into at some point in the show. So lots to get into with him coming up at 4:00 in the Green and Gold Update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Quickly, before we go to break, Christian Watson gets the 1-year extension, $13 million. Were you surprised?
Yes, but also no. It seems like they love him and he loves being a Packer, and they wanted to give him that one extra year and a full season.
It gives him a 5th year, essentially.
To prove himself. Yeah, exactly. Gives him an opportunity based on how he's worked so far this preseason, based on how quickly he's been able to come back from this devastating injury. Honestly, another devastating injury that he's had in his career, I think shows a lot to the Packers who value that type of the hard work and that type of just grit from these players.
Did you see Christian Watson's dad on social media post when this all got announced?
I did not see it, but I'm sure it was entertaining to say the least.
So he says, let's talk business. So why did I thumbs up this deal? Meaning, why did his dad thumbs up the deal? Really simple to me. You show loyalty to those who show loyalty to you. The Packers literally try to trade back into the first round in 22 to select Christian so they'd get the right to exercise a 5th-year option. The Vikings denied them the trade back into round 1. Then the Pack said they'd give them the same 2 second-round picks, which equaled the first value, for pick 34. All parties agree, and Christian was selected by the Pack. There have been a number of momentous occasions since then, as well as some injuries that have certainly been concerning. However, the Packers know exactly what they have in Christian. Christian is really enamored with the culture and team of the Packers. So what happened here today, for those who still don't get it, was Christian basically allowing the Packers to exercise a 5th-year option on a player they were going to draft in the first round and in whom they continue to believe, and he in them. Hashtag that's all, that's it, from Christian Watson's father.
I think that was an all right analysis on the situation. I don't know. I think I agree with him that Christian fits into that culture, and the Packers want to be loyal to people that are loyal to them and vice versa. I think that's important in the sports business world and just the business world in general, that people have these relationships and are able to build them up in order to help both parties out. At the same time, I think that this isn't really them rewarding him, I guess, for his hard work. Again, it's just giving him another opportunity to show what he can do because he's working hard. I wouldn't say it's a reward. I would say that it's just giving him that last-ditch opportunity.
Another guy on Twitter, Pete, who follows us and listens to us as well, says, love this, great perspective. I would note that the 5th-year option on a wide receiver would be at least $15.9 million at the lowest level. He's more valuable than that. Makes it even more of a win-win deal. Meaning the Packers kind of got a discount to a certain degree.
Definitely. Yeah, it was a good deal from the Packers.
All right, take a quick time. I'll come back. We'll talk more about that ESPN piece here from Micah Parsons. Straight ahead, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.